Hi everyone, this is Veronica and today we are going to talk about National Commission for Safai Karmacharis. So why this commissions were constituted, we'll discuss in detail. For my video updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. This is our channel StudyIQ. If you're preparing for any government exam, our pen drive and tablet courses are also available. For additional information, you can call on these numbers or you can visit our website too. The PDF of this lecture and all my lectures will be available on www.studyiq.com. So now, what is the relevance of this topic from examination point of view? If I talk from UPSC perspective, it's important for your mains paper 2. Under this topic, this particular lecture will be covered, and for objective level, the other government examinations where MCQs are asked, you should know about this commission, the specifications of this commission, and at subjective level, welfare of Safai Karmacharis, because a lot of government initiatives have been taken up for the upliftment and empowerment of the Safai Karmacharis, so that you should be able to write, and there you can mention about this commission also. So now here's a question for you. You can give me answers in the comment box. Consider the following statements with respect to the National Commission for Safai Karmacharis. The first statement is, the Constitution of India explicitly mentions for the provision of setting up of NCSK. NCSK works for the welfare and upliftment of the Safai Karmacharis and persons engaged in manual scavenging in the country. So now you have to tell me the right answer in the comment box. So why it is in news? Because recently Union Cabinet has approved the extension of this particular commission, that is National Commission for Safai Karmacharis, beyond 31st March 2019. So earlier it was expiring, its date was, the commission was expiring on 31st March 2019, but now 3 years extension has been given to them. So now this is a little bit about the timeline and background of this commission. The National Commission for Safai Karmacharis, it was constituted on 12th August 1994 as a statutory body by an Act of Parliament, like National Commission for Safai Karmacharis Act 1993. So Act was 1993, but it was constituted in 1994 for a period of 3 years, that was up to 31st March 1997. So as per some subsection of section 1 of this act, it was to cease to exist in 1997. However, the validity of act was extended up to March 2002 and then up to February 2004. Right, so it keep on extending wide amendment acts that were passed in 97 and 2001 respectively. So with the lapsing of the National Commission for Safai Karmacharis Act 1993 with effect from 2004, the commission is acting as a non-statutory body from time to time, and the tenure of the present commission is up to this, but now it has been extended up to 3 years. So now, what is the role of NCSK? See, this commission, it is working for the welfare of both Safai Karmacharis and manual scavengers. It is mandated to work towards the elimination of inequalities in our in status, facilities and opportunities for Safai Karmacharis, and it has an important role to ensure rehabilitation of all the identified manual scavengers on a time-bound basis. So under section 31, I will tell you that manual scavenging has been banned, is prohibited in our country. So the work of this commission is to monitor the implementation of that particular act also, and to inquire into complaints regarding contravention of provisions of the act. And in the end, they can even give suggestions to the central government and the state government for effective implementation of the various acts. So in short, you can say what is the role of NCSK, that they recommend to the government regarding specific programs for the welfare of Safai Karmacharis. They study it, they evaluate it, then they evaluate the existing welfare programs also, and they hear to the grievances of the people of Safai Karmacharis also. So now here is the act that I am talking about, Prohibition of Employment as Manual Scavengers and their Rehabilitation Act. So this is also seen by the NCSK, that the implementation of this act is implemented in its letter and spirit. Now, which community is having the major impact? Then obviously the main beneficiaries of this proposal would be Safai Karmacharis. The extension of this commission will really help the Safai Karmacharis and the persons engaged in the manual scavenging in the country, since as I told you, this commission is particularly working for the welfare and upliftment of this community. So now the question is why they have extended their tenure. So see, this NCSK, the number of manual scavengers they identified is around 14,226, and Safai Karmacharis, according to one survey done by Niti Aayog, around 30,000 in the country. So though the government has taken many steps for the upliftment of Safai Karmacharis, the deprivation suffered by them in socio-economic and educational terms is still far from being eliminated. Further, this practice of manual scavenging is still prevalent in the country, and its eradication is needed to be continued. That is why the extension to this particular commission has been extended, is being given. You can see the dates when it was extended from time to time as a non-statutory body. 2004, that you can have. So the last date given here is 2019, and now it has been extended to up to 3 years. So now when we talk about the mandate of this commission, the mandate of National Commission for Safai Karmacharis, so just we need to remember 3 points are main here, that they recommend the central government specific programs of action towards elimination of inequalities in status. They study and evaluate the implementation of programs for the Safai Karmacharis, and they also investigate the grievances and take suo motu notice of matters relating to non-implementation of such programs. So here how this particular commission works. Telling you that, let me tell you about the constitution of this particular commission. So this National Commission for Safai Karmacharis, it comprises of one chairman, that is in the rank and status of Union Minister of States, and then there are separate 4 members including a lady member in the rank and status of Secretary to the Government of India, and then comes the Secretary who is in the rank of Joint Secretary to the Government of India along with other supporting staff. So we talk about working of the commission. These chairperson and the members, they take extensive touring of the country and they talk to the people who are working as Safai Karmacharis. They evaluate their socio-economic conditions and living conditions and even of their dependents also. So during their visits, the members of commission they interact with Safai Karmacharis both individually as well as through their representative associations also, and if there are some grievances, they investigate them and take it up to the local or civil or police authorities. That is how this particular commission works. So there's this data from 2017, because here again and again I'm talking about manual scavenging, because NCSK is responsible for 2 communities. One is of Safai Karmacharis and other is of the manual scavenging. So who are manual scavengers? Basically these are the people who do certain work of dry latrines, who clean our septic tanks with their hands manually. So they are known as manual scavenging. So it is very inhuman practice that should not be done. That is why it is prohibited in our country, but still it is prevalent. So see this data, since January 1, 2017, 123 people employed in manual scavenging, they have lost their lives, and on an average 1 person dies every 5 days. So you can see what is the condition of manual scavengers. They even die because of poisonous gases those are present inside the septic tanks and such pit holes. You might have seen these people working on the roads also, and on and off we keep reading in the newspaper about deaths because proper gears and gloves and masks are not given to these people, which should be given. So they really work in inhumane conditions. So now here we'll talk about the difficulties which are faced by the Safai Karmacharis. So first is violation of Article 42. See, Article 42 of Indian Constitution, it provides just and humane conditions of work and maternity relief. The absence of providing safety equipments like protection gear, as I told you, etc., it violates the concept of Article 42, that because these people really work in very inhumane condition, and the hazardous condition lead to an increase in the mortality rate. So this is the first thing. Next thing is about the health issues, because in most of the areas across the country where the Safai Karmacharis are denied from their basic necessities, so in order to create a clean and beautiful environment, they bear all the the germs. So they really work in very, as I'm again and again telling you, they work in very hazardous conditions and of conditions of infested waste. So they are not provided with gloves or masks to protect themselves from the dust. Thus they become a victim of heart disease or asthma. They have to inhale the poisonous gases coming out from the garbage, which also affects their mental health. Next is social discrimination. And even one more point here I would like to add is about road accidents. So due to lack of safety measures, a lot of workers are prone to road accidents during their duty hours. As I told you, if you have seen them working on the roads also. So next is social discrimination. It starts from our homes only. The social discrimination against Safai Karmacharis is abundant in the Indian society. They are termed as kachre wala by the people in our society, which is very derogatory in nature. And even in your homes, you might have seen that your mothers, most of the families I have seen at least, that the mothers, they keep a separate cup and plate for the Safai Karmacharis. If they happen to visit your home, then you keep those vessels at a separate place. Your family doesn't use it. So this is the social discrimination they face. And then it is about the economic security, because most of the Safai Karmacharis are facing a low level of economic security in spite of their increasing protest regarding their demand for a hike in their wages. No jobs are allotted to the dependents of the workers who have died in the past few years, and the dependents are not being given any employment on the merciful grounds. So this is the difficult conditions they face. Now next is, government has taken a lot of initiatives to protect Safai Karmacharis, which are as follows. So first is National Safai Karmachari Finance Development Corporation. So this is an apex institution body. It was set up in 1997 and it is a non-profit company under Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment of Government of India. So basically it tries to empower the workers and help them to live a life with dignity and pride. Next is Employment of Manual Scavengers and Construction of Dry Latrines Prohibition Act. It was it was enacted in 1993 under government of Narsimha Rao. So as I already told you, it prohibits the act of manual scavenging. And third is National Scheme of Liberation and Rehabilitation of Scavengers, because even these people don't want to leave this work because they don't have alternative employment opportunities. So what they do, the government is trying to give them alternative opportunities for employment. So it was implemented by Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment in the year 1992. So the main objective of the scheme was to provide a dignified occupation to the workers in a time span of 5 years, that is 92-97. So it aimed at providing training in the identified trades for the scavengers and their dependents. So yes, government has taken these initiatives, but yet the progress is not seen on the ground. Valmiki Malin Basti Awas Yojana was also there in 2001. It was launched. So it was launched by Atal Bihari Vajpayee, that the families in the urban areas, they should be given shelter. It tries to provide the physical infrastructure to the urban poor. And in the end, we are already talking about National Commission for Safai Karmacharis, which will take care of the welfare and upliftment of Safai Karmacharis and manual scavengers. Now in this slide we will talk particularly about certain issues. So first issue here is underestimation of data. So how, as per SECC is your socio-economic caste census that was done in 2011. So rural Maharashtra has 35% of the total 1.82 lakh such households in rural India, where at least one member of the household is working as manual scavenger. But NSCK data, Maharashtra has reported only 2 deaths. So this is the issue with this commission also. That is needed to be altered, that is needed to be improved, because there is underestimation of data. Because the state with the next example I'll give you underestimation of data is the state with the highest number of manual scavenging in its village is Madhya Pradesh, with 23,104 as per SCC data, and it doesn't show any deaths in NCSK data. So according to data and post-mortem reports maintained by NGOs and Safai Karmachari Andolan, the actual death count since January 2017 is around 300, and it has been increased drastically into today we are talking in 2019. So they have doubled and tripled. So there is underestimation of data by this commission also. But now it has been extended. We hope that they will do better work. Next is unavailability of data. There is no data available on those employed in sewer and septic tank cleaning. All previous and ongoing exercises at compiling data have been restricted to accounting for those removing human excreta from dry latrines, open drains, and single pit toilets in villages. Due to lack of data, what happens that if we talk about manual scavengers, sometimes family member of victims are denied their compensation because according to Supreme Court's one judgment, if a person dies, first thing is manual scavenging is prohibited. But if it is done in emergency cases, the person manual scavengers should be given proper gears that includes gloves and mask. But however, if he dies on duty, then its family should be given a compensation of rupees 10 lakh, right? But due to unavailability of data, there are no manual scavengers. So who will die? Who will get the compensation? This is the problem. And now what should be the way forward here? That is very important because it is necessary that the law prohibition employment as manual scavengers and the Rehabilitation Act, that is 2013, and Supreme Court observation that I told you here, they should be implemented in letter and spirit. That is the first thing. Next thing is, in the absence of political will and social pressure, more lives could be lost because more tanks are being built in rural and urban areas as a part of drive to construct toilets under the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. It is necessary that these governments, state governments and central government, they should address the lack of adequate machinery to clean septic tanks, because you are here making and constructing more and more septic tanks, but then you don't have the proper machinery, you don't have the machine pumps to clean the septic tanks. Then you engage these people for manual scavenging. That is prohibited and that is totally wrong. That should not be done, and government should provide these machine pumps to the rural people. So the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan should make expansion of the sewer network. So this Swachh Bharat Abhiyan should expand the sewer network also to a top priority and come up with a scheme for scientific maintenance that will end manual cleaning of septic tanks in India. And last, I would say, when a person engaged for cleaning sewer septic tanks dies while cleaning, so the compensation of rupees 10 lakh should be mandated. It should be given to the person. So here about these points you can talk in way forward. In the end, I would say, though Safai Karmacharis are an important part of the society, they are considered to be the most oppressed of the community in India. That is why a commission like NCERT is needed, and they should work efficiently. You know, metro are facing the major health problems like swine flu, malaria, etc. Safai Karmacharis acts as a significant aspect in maintaining a hygiene environment for us. So for us as citizens, we should avoid the social discrimination against these people. We should understand their problems, and no social discrimination should be done because all humans are equal. We should not force them into these inhuman conditions, and rest depends upon the government. They should bring in schemes like here I talk about the sewer and the not manual but machine pumps to clear septic tanks rather than engaging people into manual scavenging, right? So here's a question for you. We have already discussed this in this lecture. I hope you'll be able to answer. Around 225 Safai Karmacharis have died in the past 6 years, mostly due to health issues. Explain what are the difficulties. So there I've written like in 300 people have died. So data could be anything, right? So explain what are the difficulties which are faced by these people, and also state a few government initiatives which are taken to protect the Safai Karmacharis. I hope you can write it now. And the answer here is both 1 and 2. Both the statements are right. So this is my contact information. If you have any query, you can contact me. Thank you.